Mel Gibson's long-awaited sequel to The Passion of the Christ just got a major filming update, and yep, there's confirmation that they'll be de-aging Jesus this time around. With the movie shaping up to be one of the biggest releases of 2026, now's the perfect time to break down everything we know so far about the sequel and what to expect next. For a while now, there's been a steady stream of rumors flying around about a sequel to The Passion of the Christ, and finally, we've got something official to latch onto. After years of speculation, the sequel, now titled The Resurrection of the Christ, is actually gearing up to begin production. According to Variety, the cameras are expected to start rolling this August at the iconic Cinecittà Studios in Rome, which is already a big deal. Manuela Cacciamani, the studio's CEO, confirmed the exciting update, and it's definitely a sign that things are moving full steam ahead. So, what's the plan? The production is going to be based in Cinecittà's newer Studio 22, but they won't just stay inside the studio. The filmmakers are branching out to some visually rich locations in southern Italy like Matera, which, if you've seen it, totally looks like it was built for biblical epics. Other spots on the rumored list include Ginosa, Gravina, La Terza, and Altamura. Basically, they're pulling out all the stops to make this sequel feel as authentic and visually compelling as the original. And then there's Mel Gibson himself, who's not just returning to direct, but also co-writing the script. He recently talked to Joe Rogan about it and said something pretty wild. He described the film as an acid trip. Now, that could mean a bunch of things, but it definitely suggests the sequel is going to take audiences on a much deeper and more surreal journey than the first one did. It seems like they're not just picking up where the last film left off, they're planning to dive headfirst into some intense spiritual territory that's rarely been portrayed on screen. Of course, one of the main reasons fans are excited is because of Jim Caviezel. He's back in the role that made him famous, once again playing Jesus. But he's not the only familiar face returning. Maia Morgenstern, who played Mary, and Francesco DeVito, who portrayed Peter, are also on board. It's clear the team behind this film wants to maintain a sense of continuity, and bringing back these key cast members definitely helps with that. Now, it's worth remembering just how massive The Passion of the Christ was when it came out in 2004. Financially, it blew past expectations, raking in over $622 million globally, and that's from a modest production budget. It became the highest-grossing independent film of all time, and still holds that record today. It also remains the top-grossing religious film ever made, and ranks among the most successful R-rated films in history. When you adjust for inflation, it jumps even higher up the list. So naturally, there's a lot of hope that lightning might strike twice with this new installment. And while Caviezel is fully committed to stepping into Christ's sandals again, modern technology is going to lend him a hand. Literally. Because the sequel picks up just 3 days after the crucifixion. Despite being filmed 20 years later, the filmmakers are planning to de-age Caviezel using CGI, similar to what was done in The Irishman. Hopefully, it'll avoid the awkward young face old man walk moments we saw there. Gibson joked about the challenge, saying the story takes place mere days later, but for them, it's been decades, so some digital trickery is a must. When asked about stepping back into the role, Caviezel recalled saying to Gibson, "You want me to be Jesus again, don't you?" And his answer was simple, "I'm all in." He's since described his preparation as a spiritual battle rather than just another acting job. "It's a war," he said. "I'm not acting as Jesus, I'm asking him to work through me." That kind of intensity shows this isn't just a paycheck project, it's something that feels deeply personal to the cast and crew. As for the story itself, it's going to go way beyond what you might expect. Sure, it'll start right after the crucifixion, but that's just the beginning. Gibson's teased that the film will cover Christ's descent into the underworld, the harrowing of hell, fallen angels, and even Sheol, the ancient realm of the dead. So this isn't just a straightforward resurrection story, it sounds more like a spiritual epic that stretches from heaven to hell and everything in between. Gibson's not going it alone either. He's working with his brother Donal Gibson and Braveheart co-writer Randall Wallace to bring this massive vision to life. According to him, they've come up with a narrative that follows events from the fall of the angels all the way to the death of the last apostle. That's quite the scope. But Gibson admits that as ambitious as the story is, He's still figuring out how to make it all work on screen. "It's not going to be easy," he said, "but I'll take a crack at it." Interestingly, there was also a bit of confusion about whether Caviezel would return, especially since Gibson mentioned the possibility of casting a younger actor due to the digital de-aging process being so complicated. But for now, it looks like Caviezel is still in, with a little help from technology to bridge the age gap. It's one of those situations where everyone involved knows how tricky it'll be, but they seem determined to get it right. Now, while we're talking sequels, there's another long-awaited project fans have been wondering about: Lethal Weapon 5. The original writer, Shane Black, recently shared his thoughts on it in an interview with Screen Rant. He's not officially part of the current version, but he's been following along from the sidelines. According to Black, the project has hit several roadblocks, especially after director Richard Donner passed away in 2021. Donner was the heart and soul of the Lethal Weapon series, and without him, the momentum has definitely slowed down. Black admitted it's been tough, but he still thinks there's a chance for the sequel to work, as long as the story feels like a natural continuation and not just an afterthought. "You have to make it seem like it was always meant to happen," he said. "That means finding the emotional core of the story, something that ties all the previous movies together and gives them closure. It's not an easy task, especially since it's been decades since the last installment, but if they get it right, it could be a great send-off." The project has been simmering in development for years, with updates popping up now and then. When it was first announced, back around 2020, Donner was still set to direct, with Mel Gibson and Danny Glover returning to their iconic roles. But after Donner's death, Gibson stepped in as director, and a new writer joined the team in 2023. Since then, things have moved slowly, but not completely stalled. It's still happening, it's just taking time to figure out how to make it all come together. So, between the epic spiritual journey of the resurrection of the Christ and the nostalgic action of Lethal Weapon 5, there's definitely a lot to look forward to, even if both projects are taking their time. Gibson clearly has a lot on his plate, juggling wildly different films with massive expectations. One is a deep symbolic story rooted in faith and theology. The other is a buddy cop legacy sequel trying to stick the landing after 4 successful installments. But that's what makes it so interesting. It's not just about revisiting the past, it's about trying to make it matter again, even after all these years. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Your suggestions for future videos are always welcome in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay in the loop. And if you want, you can share your thoughts about this video in the comments.